Hello and welcome back to another AI June video, and this is for City Skylines 2. So the AI gave me multiple suggestions on video editing styles for City Skylines 2. One of them was ASMR cityscape sounds, and I thought, well, maybe that's something that I will do. I don't venture into the realm of ASMR, but I thought that would be something new for my channel and something to check out. However, I have not played City Skylines 2. I've played the first one quite a bit, and I always get to a point where people just start dying, whether it be like a mass sickness. It seems like a lot of them will get sound sickness for some reason, and then I just wind up starting over. Another suggestion was a live stream full city build type thing with minimal cuts and stuff like that. So that's what this is. It is that. Candidly, this is the third time that I have started a new map, because the first two times I got into tremendous debt and I wasn't sure why. And part of the reason was this setup, the electric company setup. So I went with like the coal mine right away, right off the bat, and it's very expensive. It has quite a bit of upkeep in order to keep up with it. So this time I decided to go smaller and use the windmills instead, and see if maybe that'll just generate enough electricity for a small village like the one that we are about to build. I also would add a bunch of power lines all over the place, and realized I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to have power lines going up and down the street like I was setting them up kind of how they normally do. That's what I figured needed to be done. As it turns out, the roads themselves seem to be power lines, so I don't need to place them everywhere. Right now I'm trying to find the most optimal place to put this to get the most out of it, and there we have it. I got it. And now I just need to connect it to the street using these power lines. Not there. That was a terrible choice. Shouldn't have gone there. And then we're just going to fiddle around with it because I kept overlapping something, and I think it was the highway to get in. So, just anywhere we can place it. Just right over there. Right there's fine. Put it there. We're good. You just click. Perfect. There we go. You're so nice now. And then I would have an issue with like growth in the town. I think I'd grow and spread out too far. Like when I set up the watering pump and the sewage systems, I would always put them far away from one another. So I put the sewage system downstream, which is where it should be, and then the water system upstream. Making sure it's collecting clean water and not dirty water, because I've made that mistake in City Skylines 1 where I have poisoned my town because they were drinking sewage water and just abandoned that one. I put on my little mayor hat and I go, well, time to go on to the next city and move on from a city that's just covered in death. Traffic always seems to be an issue, something that I deal with in this video. Just so you know, this video is 2.5 hours long, is how long I've played. I'm now at 1.5 hours. I don't plan on making this video 1.5 hours for you. This is going to be just about 30 minutes of me candidly talking about City Skylines 2 and kind of what I think about, what I learned from it, what I struggle with, things like that. And I want you, the viewer, to leave comments telling me different tips on like how to have a good city without it having any problems. I try to keep up with whatever the demand is. So like right now we need industry and we need buildings for them to purchase things from. So I usually will put the purchased stuff kind of on the highways and keep the living buildings that citizens live in away from that to avoid noise pollution, which I faced in the first game. And see, here we come with the water plants now. So we're going upstream, and I'm not spreading it all the way to the far end, which is what I would normally do. And then we need the sewage, and I'm going to put that right there, not at the very corner, which I would normally do. And from there, you just connect them. So I can either take pipes and connect them all the way through, or the roads themselves actually have water and sewage pipes built into them. So you just connect a road to it, and bam, it has electricity that goes to the water pipes and sewage pipes. And then that also will connect the sewage and water systems, and there you have it. Just starting small. Like I expand too far, and then I put myself into debt, and I tax the hell out of my citizens, and my population growth will stunt. It'll like grow pretty high, and then it gets to a point where it plateaus and then plummets. So that's why we're on our third try for this, and I'm just doing a slow growth, putting all the buildings for purchasing stuff kind of in a group together. Industry, I don't think it's a good idea to have them in their own little district because pollution starts to really take effect. So I put them in an area for a bit, but I also try to spread them out, but still keeping them a distance away from residential areas, because then if they're too close to the residential areas, people get sick. So that's just like things that I have learned from playing City Skylines. And I did actually pretty good in this playthrough. I managed to get to milestone 3 without any major issues. We had a traffic jam right at the beginning of the highway, and I managed to get that fixed too. And I'm doing minimal cuts, so I'm not going to actually cut over to where you'll see me fix the traffic jam. And it's kind of at the end of the video, so maybe we will. I think I'll skip ahead at parts and show off kind of like what progress we've made. Let's do that now. Let's skip ahead, say like 20 minutes. Alright, so at this point, city is well established. We're on our first milestone. They now have introduced kind of high density residential areas, which almost seem like a city, essentially like big cities that have apartment buildings and stuff like that. Condominiums, got townhouses, those kinds of things is what it looks like. And I separated those from regular residential because in the last map that I had, there was a lot of complaints about noise. And I thought, well, these, because they're high density, probably have more noise. So let me keep them separate from regular residential. And if you look at like all the top right there, that's like all residential. I sprinkled in some shops here and there, but I got industry going into the bottom left, and then the top left as well. If you go further down the road over there, there'll be some industry that'll be pointed out. But we're just at first milestone. I didn't buy the tiles right away. There's tile upkeep on top of the cost that you have for it. I waited and I actually planned out my funds. I always check to see kind of like where my upkeep is at before I purchase the next thing, if it's like a firehouse or a hospital or education, things like that. I make sure I'm in the green and can afford to get it before buying it. And then I just started doing these like little cone houses. I know this is like terrible for traffic, but it's mainly residential is the area. And it's the high density one. Maybe I should have gone with like bigger roads. You tell me. But I just did it small, and I just kept expanding just like this, making sure I left enough room for the roads to continue to expand, because I've had that problem where I'll put houses and then I need to expand that area, and I have to demolish a house in order to get a road to go through it. So see, there's some industry down there and some shops at the end over there. And then industry has a little buildup right there. Still a distance away from the high density residential area. And I just expand them in that direction, hoping they don't cross and they don't get people sick. So yeah, that's pretty much my whole focus, was just doing that. High density seemed to be in demand quite often, and I just expand residential. It took a while before we got our first actual building that was education or cremation or anything like that. And God, what else? Oh, they have these new buildings where they're like a Rockstar mansion where a Rockstar can live. And so those were interesting. I forget how they unlocked. I unlocked one at one point. It didn't cost anything to build, but it reminded me of what did you call them? They're like certain iconic things that you could get in the first city Skylines, where you can almost get the Eiffel Tower or a certain park, things like that. They were really expensive to get. They're like Wanderous and they're landmarks, and that's what it is. It's a landmark. So a mansion that a rock star lives in when he's not touring is a landmark. So if anybody came in for any type of vacation, or if they're doing any type of touring, that would be something that they would go and see. It's this mansion that this rock star lived at. Let's go ahead and fast forward 10 minutes. Alright, perfect point. This is where I'm dealing with the traffic jam that I have for the main highway coming into town. So what I decided to do was to expand with a much larger road that connected over here in this little area that's not really got too much going on for it, but it connects to the main highway coming in. And then I realized that they're not going down this road, and I can't figure out why. Why are they not coming down this road at all? And it's because it's not really connecting. So if I can connect where the industry area is over to where these things of buildings are, these high density residential areas, then perhaps I can get the traffic to reroute itself and go that direction, including other areas for it to kind of go around. And you can see where cars are now starting to go down that road and lightening up the traffic at the main entrance point. I would have traffic jams like crazy in the first city Skylines, and it would always be like one road, just one road that goes through my city, and I couldn't think of what to do except to add additional as it's going forward. But I think the best thing to do is to kind of go back where the end of the traffic jam is, like where it starts to build up, and then make a road from there and have it be a way to connect to where they're all heading, to kind of, I don't know, loosen the flow, if that's a thing, just to kind of clear up that congestion that happens. But you can also see we're on milestone 2. I did buy an additional tile and put industry out there, because for some reason we needed a buildup of industry, and I didn't want to build any more over this direction. We now have a need for a morgue or a cemetery. And what I end up doing, instead of getting the cemetery because it's expensive, I used my milestone points and I bought a crematorium. And I wind up setting up a crematorium, which is on the field right now, I think. It's the one downside to fast forwarding a bit, is I miss out on some things. But this is all supposed to be kind of like candid, live streaming-esque, even though I've fast forward. That's why it says minimum cuts. I don't know what a live stream of this would really be, if it would be interesting. There's points where like I get so into the game that I'm not focusing on speaking and talking, which is why I like playing the game first and then adding in recordings afterwards. There's the Rockstar Mansion right there. That's the like tourist destination. But we're just constantly in need of more residential areas. I left the Rockstar Manor alone and kind of had its own little area in the middle of a residential area. Like, this is probably terrible city planning. You all can let me know in the comments below about how you do your cities or how you decide to plan your cities. And I'm adding more to the industrial over here, which will probably wind up coming back to bite me at some point. There's also other parts of industry too, where you can get chicken and lumber and vegetables and grain and coal and rocks and things like that. And I haven't experimented too much with it. I started to do it on the last map, but then my debt was just going crazy. My tax was at the max. People weren't happy. My population was going down, and my debt was going up, and I couldn't do it. But there, we just bought the crematorium, or got the crematorium through the milestones, and now I'm setting it up, making sure that I can afford to do it. We can. We are very much in the green and making a wonderful profit. So we're getting our crematorium. It's a pretty big setup, so I place it right there. It's got like low sound, so nothing like that to deal with. And then my hearses are going to start going out into the town. But I liked my map. I liked where I was at. It's a nice little setup here. It's small. It isn't growing too fast. My residential area is insane. It just keeps expanding in that one area. And I think about like getting other tiles and maybe making that into a residential area, or changing it into like another portion of a city instead of just expanding in one direction. But any move that I made sure that my finances were in order. See right here, checking it. 53, it's kind of going down. I'm waiting for it to kind of get to a point to where I be like, okay, it's not going to go down too much. I didn't see much movement there. Now we can build the elementary school. Like, I took my time. I did strategic planning. I was proud of myself in this one compared to the last two. That was just a travesty. Trying to figure out where I can place this without tearing down a building. And had no luck. There's no roads anywhere. There's not a whole lot out that way. I'm looking around. I'm thinking, well, there's this spot right here. And it's in the middle of a residential area. Boom. There we go. Elementary school is built. And now we got the high school. We have people who are ready for high school. But we wait. We don't get into the high school just yet. I wait until I start getting more of a profit. And I even got my happiness in this town to the next stage up in green, whereas before it was staying like right in neutral, but wanted to jump to red so much. My taxes were insane. I haven't changed the tax on this stage once. I haven't need to. And I think it's because I was taking it slow. I wasn't trying to expand my roads unless I really needed to expand them. And when I started seeing need, like right now, we need a need for high density. So I'm just expanding outwards, making my little cube grid that I got going on. These cube grids are probably going to wind up biting me in the end too, though. If like traffic ever picks up over here and I have to expand the roads, I'm going to have to wind up demolishing buildings, which is going to affect me negatively. But hopefully I can just get them right back. Or if I can see where the flow of traffic is heading, maybe I can plan ahead enough time to build thicker roads and maybe just keep like shopping districts right there. Shopping district wasn't expanding as much as everything else was. Like, it was always high density residential, and then industry for a while. And that was it. Like, there's a handful of shopping places. We've got some at the end of the road, some over in the residential area, and then of course right on the main highway coming in. And now I'm realizing, oh, industry needs to expand. Maybe I can get another tile and use that for industry. Like, what's close by? What's something that I can get? And you can click on like multiple tiles. They tell you what's in there. They tell you how much it's going to cost. the tile upkeep of what it will be monthly. So of course checking, are we in the green? Are we good? Is things moving up? Is things moving down? They're going up right now, so we're in a profit zone. I got 29k in profit. It costs 12k for this tile upkeep. Good news, we can afford it. Purchase it. And that also connects right to the highway, so I can avoid using the traffic going into my main town and then just make a road and set this up as an industry section. I wanted to avoid connecting the two industry areas just because I'm trying to avoid as much pollution as possible, and it just seems like it cannot be helped with an industry zone of pollution. And it's funny too, because where I live is an industry light zone, and I get like the pollution because I tried to go for a walk around my neighborhood and I can't. Dude, all these diesel trucks that are just driving around, killing me, choking me. It's less healthy for me to walk in my neighborhood than it would be if I had like a treadmill or something inside my own house. So there we go. We set up these industries. We just got one road that does that. And then I figured, oh, well, this will probably get built up pretty quick because it's only a one-way highway. And I need to be able to connect water, sewage, electricity, all that good stuff. And so I need to get this road to connect with the main road, so that way everything can transfer over and connect. Which I wasn't paying any attention to that. I was looking at something else. Not seeing all the pop-ups coming up. And the little Twitter thing that they added to City Skylines is hilarious too. I don't know if any of you like will sit there and read them, but the citizens start giving you hints on like certain things. They're like, oh, healthcare is abysmal. I don't know what to do about that. What am I supposed to do when they tell me healthcare is abysmal? You have a hospital. Everything's in the green. They can go there and get treated. So I don't know what they want. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I remember in the first City Skylines you had rules that you could put in. So like every house gets a smoke detector, or what was it? Like a smog-free zone, so people weren't using their cars as much. It was more of like bicycles and less vehicles, unless it was commercial vehicles. Pet-friendly areas and stuff like that. I didn't see that with this one, or I just didn't find the section that it was at. I didn't explore too much. But like, as for a game to just kind of pass the time in, City Skylines is great. And I've seen a few people do like challenges too, where someone made a town where it's just like one stretch of road from the highway and it just keeps going that way. They never like branched out from there. They just went straight down and tried to build a city like that. So that was fun to see. I thought about doing something like that too. It's like, maybe if I do a challenge, and then I realized I'm not the greatest City Skylines player. And that happens with a lot of these type of management games. Like, I played a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon when I was younger, and my management was very poor. My theme parks were not doing well at all. And then you add in like a roller coaster crash, and it ruined everything. But you see that we're starting to use a lot more power. So I'm just adding in more wind turbines. It increases the power by a little bit, but I know at some point I probably will be putting in the coal. The thing is that this is just kind of a green thing which reduced pollution, even though the coal plant is going to be generating a heck of a lot more electricity. Up to the point too, like, you could actually sell extra electricity to other places, which is cool because that's like a profit that your town can make off of and put yourself in the green. But yeah, still need of residential, little needs for industry, so I just started building it there and then continued to expand outwards in my residential area. But that's pretty much how my City Skylines place went. Maybe if I ever need to do another City Skylines video, now that I actually have a pretty well established city, we'll start doing some ASMR city sounds and see what that kind of video turns into. I tried like zooming in and getting city sounds, but the graphics look absolutely atrocious. I have everything set on high right now, and it was just like wobbly and clipping, and it didn't really look that great. You can follow people too, like you can pick on people, or there's a dog walking around. So I clicked on the dog and started following the dog to see what they were doing. And it was walking with its owner, got into a car and drove out of my city and took off, probably never coming back. Oh man. But the graphics were just terrible. There was a lot of lag too. So like sound would just stop, and I think that had something to do with like recording. So who knows? Who knows if the ASMR thing will turn into anything. Little cityscape ASMR. But AI June's been really interesting. I'm still enjoying it. It gives me ideas on how to edit videos. And for some reason, people did not like the Disco Elysium video at all. That is my most disliked video on the channel, with 12 dislikes to 2 likes. That's insane. I would hope that somebody would have left a comment on why they didn't like it. And I'm thinking like maybe it's because I didn't do the full thing going on, or maybe because I didn't do any commentary. Maybe I didn't do like a little interaction in there that they wanted to see. I was trying to focus on being a good detective and not give the kid the gun or like interact with the kid whatsoever, aside from asking him actual police questions. So maybe that's what people didn't like. They're like, why didn't you interact? Why didn't you ask to hang out with them? But I don't know, because no one left any comments. They left the dislikes. They didn't leave a comment. That would have been great if they did. I didn't want to know people's opinions. I don't get enough comments. I apparently did shitty audio quality on my previous video for Return of the Oberdeen, and you can't really hear me in the beginning, which sucks. I usually always check my audio, and I thought I did this time, but apparently I didn't. But I'll be sure to check this one so you can hear my wonderful, wonderful voice. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good place to end it. I don't really have much to talk about City Skylines wise, except for I'm pretty proud of myself from getting here. Oh, we did get to milestone 3. Let's do that, because that's actually right where I was like, this would be a good place to stop. We're at milestone 3. I don't have people dying. There's no sick. There's nothing up there. The traffic jam got cleared away. We have an elementary school. Here we go. The high school's getting ready to get placed. We're in the green enough that we can get ourselves a high school. Where are we going to put it? Where's that high school going to go? Where do you think we're setting it? Oh, right there. Right there. That looks like a great place. Boom. And now we're a large village. We unlocked a milestone 3. I get 3 points that I can use in different developments. I don't think I chose anything. I looked around a bit just to see like, oh, what should I do next? And didn't come to a decision, and thought, I'll hold on to them and kind of see where the growth of the town goes. And we'll go from there. Because now we've unlocked fire department and police department. And that's going to be something that we're going to be adding to the city moving forward. But trying to keep pace with it. This is the furthest that we've gone, is milestone 3. The last 2 maps, we didn't get that far. But hey, we're learning. Anyways, leave me your tips and tricks in the comments section below. I hope you're all enjoying everything. And I will see you in the next AI June video. Goodbye.